Yes, everybody, we are back live in the building. And even though we are in May, I know the season isn't over. I know we still have two Premier League games left, but it feels like the season's already over. I mean, Adnisla was partying in Ibiza last night, some with the coaching staff, it seems, and then the players are out in Dubai celebrating too. So it feels like now the only focus, really, obviously, enjoying the title celebrations that are to come. The trophy lift on the 25th of May, the parade the following day, but then otherwise it seems like we're all in, you guys, on starting to recruit for the summer. And it seems like our very first signing this summer could be Jeremy Frimpong, the right wing back from Leverkusen, who's been fantastic under Xavi Alonso. It looks like it's going to be the end of an era because Xavi Alonso is going to be heading to Real Madrid. He's going to be replacing Carlo Ancelotti, and of course Frimpong will be leaving Liverpool this summer. I mean, leaving Leverkusen this summer. He has that 35 million euro release clause, which is so low for a player of that quality. That's under 30 million pounds. And the fact that we're moving quickly on this deal makes me really, really happy, you guys, because there will be a whole host of clubs that will be interested in him. Apparently, Man United want him, which makes sense because they play that system under Ruben Amorim with a right wing back. So we got to get this deal done ASAP, you guys. Trigger that release clause, get him in, and keep moving forward because we're going to need to bring in a lot of bodies this summer. But guys, it looks like we're becoming Dutch FC. I would take Jorel Hatu too from Ajax, that's for sure. But how's everybody doing in the building? Imagine our lineup next season with Frimpong and Kirkez on the way. Oh, bro, imagine the pace we would have in the team. Oh my lord, you guys. Oh my lord, can Frimpong and yeah, so he is the primary target to replace Trent Alexander-Arnold. Obviously, there will never be a straight replacement for Trent. We all know that. Yo, bro, lover, nice to see you in the building as well. I see. Do you think Ibu will leave too? Reflex expert, I was literally just doing a post on Ibu Konate as well, guys. There's a latest report that just came out on Ibu as well, which says contract talks are not advancing between Liverpool and Konate. Liverpool are in negotiations with Ibu over a new deal, but there's no full agreement on some crucial points. So unfortunately, the news on that end doesn't seem so positive. Um, but I'm still confident that he's going to end up staying because of how bright our future looks, and we can't afford to lose a player of that quality. Apparently, him and his agent are looking for something like 200,000 a week. Hopefully, we can find in between something in the middle of around 150, 160,000 pounds a week. I think that would be a fair price. Ibu Konate is proven at the highest level. We cannot afford to lose a player of his quality. But what's for sure is if we don't agree a new deal in the next few months, then we need to sell him this summer, you guys, because he's only going to have 1 year left, and we cannot afford to lose such a top player again on a free transfer like we did with Trent. And his contract expires in the summer of 2026, so that's basically a year. That's basically a year. Yo, Leo, do you think Lucho will leave? And what do you think? So I think Lucho will stay. This was also a report from yesterday, guys, on Lucho. This is what Lucho said yesterday. I would stay however many years it takes. So that's him wanting to stay. He said, for me, I would stay however many years it takes. It also depends on the club, everything. There are details to be sorted out because he's going to need a new contract. But I'm happy and enjoying the Premier League. From the first day I arrived, I've always been happy, calm, enjoying the football played at this great team. So Ibu Konate has reiterated that he wants to stay, at the club. But my worry, more so for me, is Ibu Konate because he is a player I desperately want to keep. But it looks like Real Madrid are interested in Ibu Konate. They want to sign, now that Xavi Alonso is coming into the club, they will be signing a center back this summer. They didn't initially think they would do that, but because he plays a three at the back, they will be signing a center back. And it looks like some of their top three options for Real Madrid this summer are Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth, who we also want, Saliba from Arsenal, and Ibu Konate from us. And I just worry because now we're a bit traumatized with them topping up our players, but we'll have to see. I'm just praying that he does extend. Nah, bro, we cannot have Ibu Konate going. Have you Have you heard of Flamingo? No, I haven't watched him, Reflex Expert. I've heard his name being thrown around, but I haven't watched him. What do you think of him, if you've seen him? Thoughts on if we did Konate plus money to Madrid and got Rodrigo and then got Huijsen as a replacement? The problem is Huijsen is a very different player to Ibu Konate. Huijsen is more of a left center back, right? And Konate is more of a, from the flank, right center back that would protect whoever's playing right back. So he's very, very different. And I don't want to lose Ibu. I really don't want to lose Ibu. I think we got to do whatever it takes to keep him. Because even if we bring in Dean Huijsen, we need that many options at center back, because there's so many games nowadays. So to have him and Ibu Konate for the future is what we want. We don't want to be letting go a player of that quality for probably not that big of a fee either, because he'll only have 1 year left on his deal. Yo, Messi, nice to see you in the building. Do you think Conor Bradley will start if Frimpong signs? I think they'll fight for the position. They'll fight for the position week in, week out, like Robbo and Costas have been fighting week in, week out just recently for the left back position. I think it'll be exactly the same, similar, Ultimate Football, nice to see you in the building. Says, hi Leo, I got one question. When Trent does go to Real Madrid, are you still gonna... Nah, I'm not going to be fussed anymore once he's off to Real Madrid. I got to be honest, Ultimate Football, because first off, I don't like Real Madrid as a club. And now that he's no longer a Liverpool player, like he chose that winning for Real Madrid means more to him than winning for Liverpool. So I'm not really fussed what happens to him at Real Madrid. Like I'm not going to be following that, really. I mean, obviously, I'm going to be watching the El Clasicos and stuff like that, but I'm not going to be watching Madrid week in, week out and stuff like that. How much can we expect to get from selling Darwin? It depends if we sell him to Saudi or to Europe. I think if we sell him to Saudi, we could get 70 million plus. If we sell him to another European club, I think it would be less money. So it all depends where he ends up going. Yes, Ruben, I'm so hyped too that it's almost done. But yeah, Huijsen, I think it all depends on Madrid, because it seems like his dream is to be a Madrid one day, a Madrid player one day. He is Spanish, and I don't like that. I don't like the fact that his dream is to go to Madrid one day, because even if he joins Liverpool, imagine Madrid come knocking a year or two later and he would just force a move there. I would hate that, Yo, I want W's in the building. My boy James is in the building. Says, I'm crying at how good this deal is. City desperately needs a right back, and this was my dream signing. Insane business from Liverpool. James, why do you think City never went for this deal? Because James, it's only 35 million euros. That's less than 30 million pounds. Do you think he's not the type of right back that City are looking for? Well, why do you think this is? But yeah, bro, I want to know, were you filming with City today? I saw your story. You got to tell us. What's for sure is he'll bring pace to our side. Ultimate Football says, I don't like Real Madrid as a club either. The club is also selfish. Yeah. If I'm not mistaken, Frimpong was in City's academy. Absolutely, he was. Absolutely. Another prospect that was from the City academy. It feels like there's so many that have passed through City's academy. Well, that's the thing. RB Tiger, you're talking about a defensive right back. Conor Bradley is that. Conor Bradley is so solid defensively. So depending on the game, Slot can decide which right back he wants to start, which I think is brilliant to have two options that are very different. If we feel like the opposition team has a top world-class left winger, then Conor Bradley will start. Look at the job he did up against Kylian Mbappe in the Champions League this season. But if it's a team, where we're more in the attacking front, where we're going to have all the possession and we're going to play a high line, then Frimpong makes sense. With his pace, he can come back on the counterattack, just like Kyle Walker did all the years for City. Under City, think about the amount of times when teams would counterattack and Walker would just clean up with his pace. He would save the day with his pace. I think Frimpong could do something similar, James says he's a perfect right back for City, rapid and attacking, but he's also perfect for Liverpool, which is annoying. Yeah, but bro, why do you think then City didn't go for him? Because it's been known that he has this release clause, Abzinho says, Leo, I think Hato at left back is better than Kerkez because we have Frimpong to attack, so Hato might help balance out the defense. Abzinho, I would love Jorel Hato as well, because like you're saying, maybe when we're in possession, Frimpong can go further forward and we move into a kind of back three in possession, if that makes sense. And then play a line that way, because Jorel Hato can play center back too. So I think that would be a fantastic option to have. And it wouldn't surprise me if we were in for Jorel Hato. It really wouldn't, because it seems like Slot loves his Dutch players, and I'm sure he could convince Jorel Hato with a phone call. You know what I mean? Because he's the best Dutch manager out there right now. Is there one player you like at Madrid? I mean, I can't dislike Kylian Mbappe because I'm a French fan. I got to meet him and he was so nice when I met him. So I don't dislike Kylian Mbappe just because, again, the history I have with him and the fact he was part of that World Cup winning team, and whenever I do watch my national team play France, he's incredible. So Leo, who do you want to be our striker? Julian Alvarez. That's my dream. That's my dream. James, about to catch another flight, bro. What the heck? What the heck? James is always catching flights, I swear to God. Bro, we got to catch up because I want to know what you were filming today. James says, about to catch a flight. Just quickly jumped on. Congratulate you on an unreal signing. No idea why City didn't make it a race, but quality business from Liverpool. He's Dutch, and that sealed it. That's probably one of the big reasons too. Absolutely, it's probably one of the reasons. Have a safe flight, bro. Talk to you very soon. Kirmani says, Leo, new sub here. Welcome in the building. Kirmani, nice to see you in the building. Who says, Frimpong, Hato, Alvarez, Cherki is a dream window. Oh my God. Don't get me that excited, Kirmani. I'm going to lose it. If that's our window, bro, if that's our window, I'm going to lose it. We win the whole lot next season. We win the whole lot next season because we get an elite striker in Alvarez. We get Hato, who's a more defensive left back, but already good enough quality to start for Liverpool Football Club. We get Ryan Cherki, who's a player who gets us off our seats at Anfield because he's a magician on the ball and he has that X factor and he can be a squad player. And then Frimpong, we talked about Frimpong. Bro, if that's our window, I am going to be confident that we win the whole lot next season and I'm going to be too excited. Yo, Pietra, nice to see you in the building. I'm probably butchering your name, but are you from Poland, by the way? Because that's a very Polish name. Something random says Kerkez, Frimpong, Alvarez. Bro, if that happens, I'm going to lose my mind. We need to keep Harvey because, hear me out, he could replace Salah. Nah, Abzinho, I'm really not a fan of Harvey Elliott on the right wing. We need pace on the wing. I think Harvey Elliott is much better in the midfield, in the middle of the pitch. From what I've seen of him on the right wing, for me, that's not his best position. I think it would be wasting his top ability to play him on the wing. Kiri says, hey Leo, what do you think about the Rodrigo news? Can you see us join this race? Potentially. I think it depends what happens on the left wing. If Lucho ends up leaving this summer, which you never know, then I could see us going for Rodrigo. The problem is, if he is to leave Real Madrid, I think he would go to a club where he's guaranteed to start on the left wing. And the problem is today, we have both Lucho and Cody Gakpo as top options on the left wing, and I don't think he would want to continue to be played out of position, which you had to do at Real Madrid because obviously there's Vinny Jr. and there's Kylian Mbappe who likes to play on the left. So right now it seems unlikely, but again, you never know what happens in the window. If Saudi end up going for a big bid for Lucho and we accept it, I could see us going for Rodrigo because that's the definition of an opportunistic signing, which is what we've been going for. So yes, from Poland, let's go. But yeah, so it all depends, I think, more on our outgoings in that sense, because I don't think we plan to sign a left winger at the beginning of the summer. Where do you think Costas will go? I think he is likely to leave Zulu. He deserves to be at a club where he starts week in, week out, so I would be happy for him. I don't know where he'll go, but I think we could get between 15 to 20 million pounds. Whereas I think Robbo will sign a new contract, like a 2-year deal, for example, because his contract runs out in the summer of 2026, similar to Ibu Konate. So I think we should give him a short-term extension, keep him as a leader and a squad player, and then bring in a starting left back. You guys mentioned Kerkez or Jorel Hato. Those would be two top options that could come in and start right away. Planet Ball says, we're making moves. Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, Stormtrooper, I already filmed a video on it. I absolutely love it. Shout out to the Anfield Rap because it's them that did that billboard. Who would you also start on the left wing? I think he's just going to go for the same left wing. It seems like he's just going for Gakpo on the left wing now, and that slot's preferred. It seems like he's going for Cody Gakpo on the left and Lucho down the middle. But hopefully we see Chiesa, although I don't see it happening. TJ, thank you very much for the super chat. Who says, Leo, do you think Liverpool would work with a back three? I mean, I think Slot can make anything happen because he's really, really intelligent tactically. So I back him whatever system he wants to play. What I think is more likely is that we play a back four, like initially how we set up, but then in possession, we move into a kind of back three. And that would make a lot of sense if we sign Jorel Hato. So I think TJ and Slot has said it before because when he came in, a lot of people were saying, oh, Slot is going to change from the 4-2-3 system that Klopp played to a 4-2-3-1 system. And then he got asked about it in an interview. And Slot said, trust me, I don't want to just set up one way tactically. He wants us to be fluid, meaning our team is going to be very versatile in the way that we set up. So maybe we start off in a 4-3-3, and then depending on how the game is going or depending who the opposition is, we can change things. And it seems like one of Slot's main principles as a coach is to have that versatility and to have that fluidity between systems. So I would back him to make a back three work, but like I said, I think it's more likely when we're in possession, especially if we have an attacking fullback like Frimpong, he bombards more forward as an option, and then we move into a kind of back three with a high line, and maybe Jorel Hato kind of moves in, shifts into that back three with Ibu and Virgil, or Huijsen maybe if he's someone that we sign in the summer, you know? Do I think we have a chance of signing Alvarez? Yes, I do. I think there's more of a chance we sign Alvarez than Isak, but it all depends if he's willing to leave and to come back to the UK, because he probably is enjoying his life in Madrid, let's be real. He probably is. The thing is, Liverpool is a club that can compete further in Europe every season than Atletico Madrid are. So maybe that's how we can convince him. And the fact that we're just Premier League champions, you know? KDB, no chance that one happens. Sorry, I would have loved for the vibes for him to come, but it seems like Napoli are the ones that are pushing heavily for him. I could see him going to Italy, but definitely not for us. Here we go today. I hope so. It seems like it's very, very close. It seems like it's very, very close. DLS, I have little side jobs that I do, but I don't have a main full-time job outside of YouTube. I do bits here and there, you know? So the time is kind of varied on different things, which is what I love. The one I said, Atul, for me, the dream at center forward, because I think Isak is out of the question now. It's not even possible anymore. For me, Julian Alvarez is my new dream. I know it's still far-fetched, but that's my all-timer dream for this summer. Athar says, Hola, Leo. Love the content made. Up the Reds. Love from India. Sending my love back to you and everybody in India. But his family's happy in England, though. Whose family is happy in England? Oh, KDB. Yeah, but Naples, bro, the life in Naples. I think they could be very happy in Italy too. I've been to Naples before. I know the food in Italy. I could see KDB enjoying going there as well. So I could definitely see him going to Napoli and trying to win the Serie A again next season, because it looks like they're going to win it this season, you know? Check Fabrizio's new post. Chiesa swap deal for Lookman? Nah, maybe. I'm not so sure though. Lots to talk about tonight. Deal is absolutely on for Frimpong, yeah. So maybe we see the here we go today. Maybe. Do you think Jota will stay? Reflex expert. I think there's a decent chance Jota stays, yes. I think so. But as a squad player, not as our starting number 9. Again, this summer, once Darwin leaves, we will sign a starting number 9. And I don't know who that is. I'm hoping it's someone on the caliber of Julian Alvarez. That's my dream, like I said. Opinions on Ibu's contract negotiations not advancing. Oliver, I'm getting worried. I gotta be real. I'm getting worried, especially because Madrid... Fabrizio Romano said Madrid are interested, and I could see them piling on the pressure and saying to Ibu, either run down your contract or let us sign you for a smaller fee this summer. That's what I'm worried about. Sorry, yo, Joseph, I hope you had a good day at school. Welcome in the building. It looks like we were very close to our first signing of the summer. Jeremy Frimpong, baby. LFC6 UCLs, nice to see you in the building. What's good? Yabala says, do you think Salah can still win the Ballon d'Or? I think it's very, very, very unlikely now because of his end of the season. because of his end of the season. Yeah, JD, I'm not the type to call Trent a snake or a traitor or anything like that, just because I don't like hate emotions like that. I just think life is too short to waste emotions on hate and just words that I think isn't nice for anyone. Like, it just doesn't make us look good as a fan base, and I just want to move on. Like, to me, I'm just not interested in Trent anymore. Like I said, he's not interested in Liverpool anymore. He's decided he'd rather play for Real Madrid. So for me, I'm just ready to move on. I personally don't want him to play again, but I'm not going to throw around names for him because he has done legendary things for us. And like I said, now I just want to give my full support to Connor Bradley and think about next season and think about winning the league again and competing for the Champions League. That's all I have my eyes on. Not Trent. Not anymore. Why don't you think Isaac will join us? Is there some recent news? No, but Abzinho, Newcastle is just looking so good. They won a trophy this season. They will strengthen in the summer, and they're going to get Champions League football next season. So I don't, for Newcastle aren't going to want to sell at any price. And the only way I could have seen him moving this summer is if Isaac handed a transfer request, for example. But I think there's no chance he does that now because Newcastle is looking so promising and they'll be playing Champions League football next season and he still has years left on his contract. So I think that one's out of the question. I think there's less than a 1% chance of Isaac happening. And that's why I think all eyes now have to be on Julian Alvarez, because that's the other elite option in my opinion. For me, those were the two. If we had brought them in, either of them two, they would have been guaranteed successes, guaranteed players that come in and perform for you from the first match day. A lot of the other names that are being thrown around, like Sesko, like Ekitike, a few others, young, talented players, are risky, just like Darwin Núñez was unproven, young, from a different league, didn't end up succeeding. And I don't know if we can really take that risk given the amount of money Frankfurt is asking for Ugo Ekitike, for example. Apparently they're asking for 90 million euros, which for a risk I think is ludicrous money. But that's what they're worth in this market because all the top teams, Chelsea, United, so many teams are desperate for a number 9 this summer. Arsenal. So they can put crazy price tags. You know what I mean? That's the problem. Golam says, hell yes, baby. I want Frimpong to come to Liverpool because we need to win all the trophies we can in the next seasons. I want Mo Salah to get a Ballon d'Or this year, please. Oh, yes. That's the energy I'm talking about. Baby. I think Trent is the best right back in the world. Yeah. Again, I'm not going to be salty. I'm not going to be this and that. I'm not going to be deluded just because I'm not happy that he's decided to leave. I still fully believe Trent is the best right back in the world, and I'm not going to change my opinion just because he's no longer going to be a Liverpool player. Just like if you ask me about players in other positions, I'm going to say that just like I think Lamine Yamal is up there with the best players I've ever seen this season. You know what I mean? Just because he plays for Barca, I'm not going to. And I think Pedri's the best midfielder in the world, for example. I think so. Joseph says, we're literally going to be Dutch FC with Slav, Virgil, Gravenberg, Gakpo, Frimpong, and maybe Hato. And why not throw Xavi Simons in there too? Imagine. Exactly, Garvit. Just don't listen. Garvit says, Leo, I think it's ridiculous how other fan bases tell us how to feel in the Trent situation. They can't decide how we feel exactly. And I'm never going to tell a fellow Liverpool. Like me personally, I wouldn't boo a Liverpool player because for me, if you're still a Liverpool player, I'm not gonna boo you. That's just my mentality. But I'm never gonna say that a Liverpool fan who's paid to go to Anfield, whose life and who they love Liverpool that much, I'm not gonna tell them how they should feel emotionally. It's their life. It's their opinion. They can react how they want to react. Me personally, I would have just done nothing. I wouldn't have clapped. I would have just, like I said, I just feel indifferent at this point. I just want to move on. That's all. For me, at least. But I would never tell a fellow Liverpool fan. No one should ever tell a fellow Liverpool fan how they should feel because everybody's entitled to an opinion. Everybody. And that's why nobody should be listening to rival fans because they know even less so what it feels like. Even less so. Trust me. If Bukayo Saka ran down his contract and left for a free to Real Madrid, trust me, the Arsenal fans would not be happy. You best believe they would not be happy. Trust me. It's so easy as a rival fan to be saying certain things when it's not you. So easy. Yo, Charlotte, thank you very much for the super chat again. Who says, got a call from my boss and I have to jump off stream. What have we been discussing the past 15 minutes? We've mainly initially been discussing Jeremy Frimpong because the deal is very advanced according to Fabrizio Romano. We're going to be offering him a 5-year deal, and right now, basically what's left is he has this 35 million euro release clause, but the beautiful thing is we apparently don't need to pay that fee in one go. We can pay it in installments, which is really great for PSR and for us to structure our other deals this summer, because let's say we can try to pay 10 million every summer for 3 to 4 years, then that would mean that we have more budget left in other positions that are really key to fill in for us this summer. So that's one side of it, Charlotte, which is moving, and hopefully we get the here we go on this man, Jeremy Frimpong, very soon. But then, on the other hand, the more worrying news, this was also from Fabrizio Romano, Ibou Konate apparently is not advancing in his contract talks with Liverpool. As you know, his current deal expires next summer, in the summer of 2026. So we need to get his deal sorted this summer. If not, we're going to have to sell him this summer because we can't afford to lose a player of Ibou's quality on a free. It would be too big of a blow. Just like losing Trent on a free feels like the biggest blow. We can't let that happen again within the space of 12 months. So this summer is going to be kind of do or die in terms of Ibou Konate's career at Liverpool Football Club. My main hope is we go all in to keep him. I love Ibou. I think he's the future of Liverpool. I rate him so highly, and I would offer him somewhere between 150 to 160,000 pounds per week. Get it done ASAP, because if he ends up leaving Liverpool, it looks like he's going to go to Real Madrid, which I would hate to see him go to Real Madrid. So I think we need to do everything we can to keep a player of that quality. So those are the two big moving pieces of today. One is a little bit worrying, and one is obviously very, very, very exciting in Jeremy Frimpong being the replacement for Trent Alexander-Arnold at right back. And apparently Jeremy Frimpong is very keen to join Liverpool as well. And yeah, Biko, Ryan Cherki, I think it's another deal that's an absolute no-brainer. The fee I'm seeing being mentioned for Jeremy Frimpong, you guys, is apparently 22.5 million euros. That's less than 20 million pounds. Ryan Cherki is a player who gets you off your seat when you're watching him. He's a magician. He's an elite dribbler already. He's very young, 21, 22 years old, I believe. Every time I've watched him for Lyon, I've been like, wow. And he's had an outstanding season for Lyon. So for me, that's another one. It's a no-brainer. I just hope he's okay with being a squad player, because I don't think he is ready just yet to be a starter week in, week out. I will say that. So my hope is he's willing to accept a deal where he's a squad player initially with a chance to become a starter depending on how much he impresses for us. But that's another one where when I look at the reliable journalists and they throw around that price tag of 22.5 million euros because Lyon is in a difficult situation financially and they promised that he could leave this summer, for me that's an absolute no-brainer. We got to get Ryan Cherki because he's very versatile as well. If you look at the positions he's played for Lyon, he's actually kind of played in 3 different positions equally. I believe 60 to 70 games between these 3 positions. On the left wing, in this kind of cam center forward position, and then right wing. So he's very versatile as well. And that kind of player, guys, who has that X factor about them, bring him in, especially at that fee. I think it's an absolute no-brainer. The only thing I will say that I would feel like a blow if Cherki came in is that I think it's the end of Harvey Elliott's Liverpool career. I don't see a world where already Harvey Elliott has such limited minutes. Ryan Cherki occupies similar positions, like I said, right wing, cam, similar positions to Harvey Elliott. I do think if we bring in Ryan Cherki, that would be the end for Harvey Elliott, which would feel like a massive blow because I know many of us love Harvey. He's a boyhood Liverpool fan. You could tell how much it means for him to play for this club. He's proven his worth. But that's just the reality. I don't see us keeping those two because, like I said, already Harvey Elliott's gotten such limited minutes. So if we brought in another young prospect, similar age bracket, I think it would be the end of his Liverpool career. Umar, thank you very much for the super chat. I appreciate you. Yeah, he's a beast, bro. He's a beast. Leo, when do you think this will be confirmed? Rager, in the next week. In the next week, because Liverpool will know. We just had JSM, James, big City fan. He says City is also looking for a right back. Frimpong used to be at City, right, in the academy. He's a right back. He's a City type right back. He kind of reminds me of Kyle Walker in some ways, where he's so pacey and he can kind of save you with this pace if you play a high line. United will be pushing for Jeremy Frimpong as well, because they're looking for a right wing back, and he will fit perfectly for their system as well. So those two Manchester clubs, guys, will be ready to pay that release clause to and offer him big wages. So we need to move quickly. And I back Michael Edwards, Richard Hughes, those in charge, to know that this deal we need to get done quickly, because for that price tag, like I said, it's an absolute no-brainer. So we need to move quickly, and it seems like we are moving quickly, which is absolute brilliant news, guys. So we gotta get this deal done quickly. And like I said, all the reports I'm seeing today tells me that it's going to be done within the next week. And I just say W to our recruitment team getting that work done behind the scenes, because it is a timely one. Like I said, because of that release clause, because of that no-brainer fee. Razy, thank you for the super chat as well, who says, who would be your dream signing for that striker position? For me, Razy, my dream signing, and I'm not going to say Alexander Isak. I was just mentioning his name before. For me, Alexander Isak isn't even a dream signing. It's an impossible signing. So I'm not going to mention him because, like I said, I think there's no way Newcastle sell him this summer. I think he's going to want to stay at Newcastle because the future is looking bright at Newcastle. They've had an outstanding season. They won a trophy. I think if they have a big summer, they might even be able to compete for the title next season. Who knows? Like, they have a top manager. They have some top players. If they sprinkle even more quality this summer, which they will, I think Isak will stay. I think the likes of Bruno will stay. The likes of Gordon, they have so many quality players. So for me, that's not a dream signing anymore because it's just too unrealistic. For me, Razy, it's Julian Alvarez from Atletico Madrid. I think we sell Darwin for big money to Saudi and we use that money to go big. I don't care if it's 120 million for Alvarez. I would rather pay that than 90 million for Ugo Ekitike or 90 million for Benjamin Sesko. Those are the price tags that are being mentioned for those type of strikers. For me, I would rather spend a bit more on a striker that will perform and isn't risky because he's just proven it. He was very good for City as well, so he's Premier League proven, and he definitely would suit our system. I would rather go bigger on that and maybe sell someone in another position than take another gamble, like I said, on those two names that are being mentioned, a Benjamin Sesko or Ugo Ekitike, because I don't want to go for a project striker that could go wrong like Darwin Núñez went wrong, who had so much potential, who was not Premier League proven, and in the end wasn't a success. Let's be honest. As much as we love Darwin, it has not been a successful signing. That's just the reality. It is the reality. Big up Dean, thank you for the super chat as well, who said, hi Leo, I was so hurt about Trent going, but the manner in which he's going. But on a positive note, what a signing Frimpong would be. Absolutely, Dean. And I'm just so excited to be able to move on from Trent, because like you just mentioned, I was also very hurt about the Trent news. I was devastated. I always had hope till the end that he might change his mind, that he might end up staying at the club, seeing the scenes, seeing how much it means to win for Liverpool Football Club, because we never got to, the last time we won the league title in front of fans was 35 years ago. So Trent, I was hoping him seeing the scenes outside of Anfield, him seeing what it means to the city, to the fans when we won that league title on that day against Spurs, that he would change his mind. I had that little gut hope that it would happen, and it didn't in the end. And I got to be honest, I was devastated. But you guys, this is me just in life outside of football. I bring my life philosophy into being a football fan. For me in life, emotions of hate, of anger, those kind of emotions for me are not worth it because life is short and we're Premier League champions. I'm not going to waste my energy on a player that doesn't want to be at this football club anymore. I was just saying to Joseph that for me, I'm just like, my sole focus right now is on two things. Celebrate the fact that we're Premier League champions and the fact that I'm going to get to go to the parade and be with hundreds of thousands of fellow Reds, maybe even a million. Enjoy that, because we cannot let one player, no one is bigger than the football club, overtake those beautiful emotions after so many down moments we had as Liverpool fans, over the years. The fact we didn't get to celebrate during COVID together, all of that. I'm not going to let one player, deciding that he doesn't want to be at the football club, take over those emotions. So I'm just excited, like you're saying, about the fact that we're likely going to sign Jeremy Frimpong, who's just such an exciting player, because it also tells you that Slot, there's no way we would have signed Frimpong, you guys, if Slot wasn't fully on board for this signing. So that's one thing, and it tells me that we're going to be playing attacking football next season, because you don't have a player like Frimpong in your starting 11 if you're not trying to play attacking football. So from that point of view too, I'm just excited for the type of attacking football we're going to play next season. So on many fronts, this Frimpong signing for me is a big W, and it gets me very, very excited, Dean, for next season. Not that we need to be excited for next season, because we still have lots of things to be excited for this season. Like I said, the fact that we get to celebrate the title together at this parade, the fact that we still haven't had the trophy lift, and the fact that May should just be about good vibes, because look, the Anisla was literally clubbing in Ibiza last night, and then we had the players who were just drinking beers on a yacht in Dubai right now, and rightfully so. Like they deserve to celebrate, and I think they should not care too much about the last two results, because the season is over, and right now I would rather they fully rest right now, because these players have barely gone to rest over the last few seasons, so that they can be fully rejuvenated for next season, because it's going to be an even bigger challenge for next season. Arsenal is going to go big. They already looks like they're going to sign Zubimendi. City is going to go very big this summer. So I want all of our star players, Mohamed Salah, Virgil, everybody who's in the squad, to fully rest right now. Have your beers, enjoy your time off, because you freaking deserve it. You delivered for us this season, and they're all they're legends of this club, many. So Umar, thank you for the super chat as well, who says, who do you think Liverpool signs this summer? I think it's going to be our biggest summer yet. I really think so. And I said this in the past, it's not because I'm deluded, because I think, suddenly FSG is going to have this like big chest of money that they've been hiding all this time. No, I think it's because there will be a lot of outgoings too. And the positions I think we go for, so right back, obviously, because it looks like we're going to get Frimpong done. I think we go for a striker, so that's 2. I think we go for a left back, that's 3. I think we go for a center back, that's 4. And then I think we go even for a 5th player, which is a midfielder. I don't know whether it's going to be more of a defensive midfielder or more of an attacking midfielder, but I definitely think we go for a midfielder too. So I think there could be 5 incomings. But having said that, I also think there could be a lot of outgoings. Like I think Darwin will definitely leave. I think Kelleher will definitely leave. So those 2 players will bring us over 100 million. Those 2. I think one of Lucho or Jota or Chiesa will leave. One of those 3. So that's a 3rd player. I think Tyler Morin will leave. And I think Costas will leave. And obviously Trent has left. So that opens up a lot of wages. So that's 6, potentially 6 outgoings that we're talking about here. 6. And that's why I go back to it. It's not because I'm deluded and I think FSG is suddenly going to be like City. No, it's because we're also going to have a lot of outgoings. And that's why I think this is going to be our biggest summer yet. Like I said, it's going to be a very big summer. Joseph, Endo, I think will stay. I think Endo is a dream squad player to have. And I think Slot really does like him. So I think Endo will stay. But like I said, I think one of these 3 attackers will leave. Either Jota, Lucho, or Chiesa. One of those 3. So I think 2 of our 6 attackers will leave this summer. So Darwin for sure. And then one of Jota, Lucho, or Chiesa. I don't know which one yet. I think it's whichever player gets the fee that we think matches most with what we believe they're worth, basically. Like, let's say, again, Saudi go. We probably really don't want to sell Lucho because he's had a very good season. But let's say Saudi do come in with a 75 million bid. I think we would consider it. So it all depends on the moving pieces this summer. I think that would kind of change what ends up happening. But yeah, that's why I think we're going to have 5 incomings, which is so exciting. Guys, which is so freaking exciting. LFC Tyler says, Leo, I can't wait for the Here We Go. Same. If we get Frimpong, our team is basically the Dutch national team. I hope, and I especially hope that we bring in Jorel Hato too, you guys, because let me tell you, I've spoken to some Ajax fans because I obviously don't watch the Eredivisie. I haven't watched Ajax much this season, but they say Jorel Hato is generational. And boy, have they had talents come through their academy over the years. Boy, have they had talents. They say Hato is at the very top in terms of talent-wise. So I want us to bring him in so badly. He can learn off of Virgil van Dijk, a fellow Dutchman, the best defender in the world. He'll have all of his fellow Dutchmen in the squad, like Frimpong, like Virgil, like I said, like Cody, like Gravenberch, like Adnislot, and he would just thrive. So I really, really hope we sign Jorel Hato and Frimpong for those defensive positions. He's versatile as well because he can play center back and he can play left back. So he can help us with two different positions, you know? That would be great. Would you want Liverpool to sign Rodrigo? Yes. Yep. I would want, of course, he's a top quality player. I would want us to sign Rodrigo 100%. But like I said, we do have more pressing issues in the team. We have more pressing issues in the team. But if he becomes available and Slot wants him and finds a way to mold him into the team, I will be ecstatic. Because boy, does he have ability. Boy, does he have ability. And he's still young. What's his... I think he's what? 24? Let me double check. I think he's 24. He's 24 years old, guys. And he already has years of experience at the highest level. Because he joined Real Madrid in 2019. So, guys... He's had 6 years of experience at the elite level with the most pressure for Real Madrid, right? Since 2019, that's 6 years. And he's still just 24 years old. So if we can bring in Rodrigo, oh my God, I would be ecstatic over that signing. And that would be another definition of an opportunistic signing, just like I think this boy right here, Jeremy Frimpong, I think is also the definition of an opportunistic signing, which is apparently how we like to do our business. That's how apparently we like to do our business. 7-inch, thank you very much for the super chat. Who says Frimpong is amazing. We're gonna win the World Cup. You're Dutch, right? If you're Dutch, 7-inch, can you please tell us about Jorel Hato? Because I haven't gone to watch him much, but like I said, I spoke to a few Ajax fans and they told me he's an incredible talent, that they think he's gonna make it to the very, very top. He's a natural born leader as well. He's the one I would absolutely love for us to sign because, like I said, he would fill two positions that we need as well. Like I said, center back, left back, those are two positions that we really kind of need to strengthen in this summer. But yeah, I would love to hear kind of, if you've gone to watch him, what your thoughts are on that player, Jorel Hato. Because we have been linked with him and he did come to Anfield this season. I know apparently it was just Gravenberch because he's mates with him that invited him to come to a game at Anfield, but still... That means he got to come to Liverpool. He got to see, the atmosphere at Anfield and everything. So that gives me a little bit of extra hope as well. Love from Nepal, Sajan. Big up to you in Nepal. Nice to see you. Liverpool X Edit says, hey Leo, great news about Jeremy Frimpong, our 4th Dutch player incoming. Oh yes, indeed. Stormtrooper says, why whenever rivals sign a player, they become world class, but when United do it, they flop? Life isn't fair. Stormtrooper, it's all about culture. I think one of the reasons Liverpool have gone their recruitment so spot on the last years under Klopp is because he created the perfect winning culture and a positive culture at the football club where when a player would come in, they would feel at home, they could play their best football because they also... things felt right off the pitch as well. That's often as important as just ability, And I think the biggest problem at United, again, isn't the actual names because there's a lot of quality there. There's proven winners. I think it's the culture at the football club that's rotten. And that's why no matter who you've tried to bring in, they haven't been successful. And I think that's the biggest job that Ruben Amorim has is how do you transform that culture from how it's rotten right now to a winning positive culture, which, for example, Jurgen Klopp did at Liverpool, because before we didn't have that culture. Jurgen Klopp changed that, and it took years. It doesn't happen overnight, but we have Jurgen to thank for all of that, Charlotte, thank you again for the super chat, who says, Leo, who do you support in the World Cup? France. Iceland isn't going to make it, I don't think. So the two nations I'm from, France and Iceland. Otherwise, I just support the Liverpool players, and probably I'm going to be supporting the Netherlands because look at the amount of Dutch players it seems like we're going to be having. So yeah, so it's basically my main nation where I'm from, Charlotte, France. And then I'm just supporting every Liverpool player. And so, like I said, probably I'm going to be always keeping a close eye on the Netherlands as well because now we're Dutch FC at this point. 7-inch says, I think Hato is a great prospect. He is just 19, but he will make it at the top for sure. Maybe one more year at Ajax in the Champions League would be good for him. He is a top talent. Yeah, that's what I've heard exactly. That's it. Matthias, thank you very much for being a community support member. I want to see you spamming those emojis, Matthias. You'll see that now you have some emojis available. Big up to you. Do you know Nepal? Yes, I do. I've never been there though before. What do you think about Stefan Bajcetic? Kirmani, I absolutely love Stefan Bajcetic. He's one of my favorite young players at the club, and I would love for him to get a chance next season. Love it. And hopefully he proves himself in preseason, because apparently that's going to be the kind of do or die for him in his Liverpool career. How he impresses Slot on the training ground in preseason, but then also how he performs in the preseason games. So I'm really hoping he impresses, because I think he has everything you want in a footballer, so long as he stays fit, to make it at the top. That's how highly I rate Stefan Bajcetic, and it's not a surprise that Barcelona wanted him this summer. You know what I mean? It's not a surprise. That's how highly rated I think he is by kind of everyone within world football as well, Big up Alex. Thank you for being a channel legend member for 1 month, you absolute legend, who says, I would love Rodrigo, but don't think we get him. And if Frimpong doesn't work out, we could easily sell him for more. You'll never walk alone. Exactly. And this is what I mean, Alex. I think this Frimpong deal is the definition of an opportunistic signing, just like Federico Chiesa was an opportunistic signing. He was available for such a low fee that I believe he will leave this summer. I do think there's a very good chance he leaves this summer. But guess what? We're probably going to be able to sell him on for profit, because many Italian clubs will be looking for attackers. He's proven in the Italian league. He's back fully fit. I think we could sell him for around 20 million this summer, and that would be profit. You know what I mean? So like you're saying, Alex, I think this Frimpong deal, just like the Chiesa deal, are definitions of opportunistic, and it's definition also of not a risky signing, because like you said, we could always sell them on for more if it doesn't work out. And he's young, you know what I mean? He is very young. Official Gordon says, greetings, Leo, all the way from Cape Town, South Africa. Glad to subscribe to your channel. Thank you very much, Official Gordon. it's on my bucket list to visit South Africa, because my cousin, who I'm very close to, Solen, his dad is South African. So he's half South African, and he's been there all through his growing up, and my dream is to go visit him and his dad. Well, he doesn't live there. He lives in France like me, but to go with him to make that trip, because I've tasted his dad. His dad is a chef. He makes barbecue meats, and he's an unbelievable chef. So I got to taste South African cuisine, at least in France, and now it makes me want to go to your country even more. So it's on my bucket list. Trust me, it's my dream to go. My absolute dream to go. Our culture was rotten before Klopp. That's what I was just saying. He transformed the culture, but to be able to do that, it's such a monumental job, because it's from top to the bottom. Jurgen Klopp even transformed our academy, and that's what I mean. He transformed the entire culture around the football club. He brought back what it means to play for Liverpool, just like Shankly laid the foundations. There's a reason why we say he's our modern day Shankly, but I think he's once in a generation type of manager, and Man United are going to have to find a once in generation manager like Sir Alex was, and that's a very difficult job. So whoever it is, is gonna need time, just like Klopp got time at Liverpool Football Club. Joseph says, bye Leo, I'm gonna go and enjoy the 25 degrees weather in Liverpool. It's beautiful. Love to hear that. Enjoy the day. Enjoy. I know. Apparently, Real Madrid are interested in Hoyson, which I'm not happy about. Trust me, I'm not happy about that. Sunday LFC, nice to see you in the building. Nice to see you in the building. Yes, Simon, but still, imagine we sell him on for 8 to 10 million profit. It would be minimum we cut even on that deal. You know what I mean? Imagine if we get Ugo Ekitike. Memento, I mean, we will sign a striker this summer. There's no doubt about it because Darwin will be leaving. But, I would rather we go big on someone like Alvarez because we will get big money for Darwin, hopefully. Ooh, Reds Army, how did you end up doing? We got David from Zimbabwe. Gan says, salut Léo, je suis français comme toi. Je suis super excité par ces jours car je pense que l'année prochaine, ça va être une année historique pour Liverpool. Gan, I love that. Who says, I'm very, very optimistic and excited for next season because I think it's going to be a historical season for Liverpool. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I love Cunha as a player. Why don't we sign him? It seems like United are pushing hard for him, and we're not. And that's the type of deal I could see getting wrapped up quickly for United as well. What do I think about Ben Doak? Top talent, but he doesn't have the end product. So he's not ready for the step up to Liverpool just yet. But he's definitely an elite dribbler. He is an elite dribbler, but he can't finish on his left or right foot. So I don't think he's going to be quite ready for that step up to Liverpool, but he's done really well in the Championship this season for Middlesbrough before he picked up that injury. So I think probably the best thing for him is to go out on loan once more in the Championship and see where he's at by next summer, by next year, you know? Finney's in the building. Nice to see you. What's good? We got football shorts from the US. Nice to see you in the building. You'll never walk alone. OMG just joined. Are we actually really close to getting Frimpong? Yes, Tommy, we are. We're in advanced stages to sign Frimpong because apparently the fee is not a problem for us. We're going to be able to pay his 35 million euro release clause in installments. So that's a no-brainer. And we're going to be offering him a 5-year deal. So now we're just moving as quickly as we can on that deal. Speaking of elite dribblers, how about Rio Enma? Oh, he's an elite dribbler. I absolutely love Rio Enma. But again, he's another one where he's not quite there for the Liverpool first team. You know what I mean? He doesn't have that final end product just yet. But I mean, who knows? Maybe that like our coaching staff will obviously have all the info on him because he's already in our academy. So we'll see. But he doesn't, from what I've heard, he's not quite there in terms of ready to step up for the first team. Otherwise, we would have seen him more this season. You know what I mean? At least on the bench. How much is Hato? Apparently, somewhere between 30 to 40 million. That's the price tag I've heard. At least. That's the price tag I've heard, yeah. Bro, I really hope Ibu Konate doesn't go to Madrid. Yo, Daniel the GOAT. Nice to see you in the building. What's good? We got MHM from Bangladesh. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate you. Farhan says, I think this is a good signing if you think about it. Who's the best replacement for Trent that can offer some things he's done? And it's clear it's Frimpong. And what's great too, Farhan, what I love about this deal is he's a very different profile to Connor Bradley. So depending on the game, depending on the opposition, Slot can decide to, like I was just saying before, if, for example, we're up against a Real Madrid in the Champions League, then we should start Connor Bradley because he had Kylian Mbappe in his pocket this season. He was proven that against the best wingers in the world, he can lock up shop and focus on the defending side of things, on the defensive side of things. But let's say we're playing a team at home who play a low block, start Frimpong, you know what I mean? Because he is so attacking. So I think it really kind of depends. I think it really depends on the opposition, but I think Slot will be buzzing at the prospect of having such different profiles for that right back position because it just offers him that versatility, you know. Charlotte, thank you again for the super chat who says, OMG, your French accent is perfect to understand. I speak conversational French. Your accent is the best kind to learn from. Thank you, Charlotte. But yeah, I do live in France, so if you ever have questions about French, let me know and I got you. Let me know and I got you. Jalapeno says, I just came out of an exam to this wonderful news. Yes. It looks like we're very, very close. Very, very close. Now my dream is that we sign another Dutch player in Jorel Hato. That's who we were talking about, Jalapeno, just not long ago. We got Vitus from Denmark. You'll never walk alone. Nice to see you in the building. Yeah, it is a bit worrying because the other news too that's a bit more scary is the fact that there's been reports from Fabrizio Romano that not only are the negotiations not advancing for the deal for Ibu Konate, but also Real Madrid want to sign a center back this summer, and two options they're looking at are Dean Huijsen from Bournemouth that we obviously also want. He has that 50 million release clause, but they're also have Ibu Konate on their list as well. Apparently they want to sign him. So man, I'm just worried because what's for sure is if Ibu decides not to sign that extension, which looks like could really be the case, then we have to sell him this summer. And he's one of my favorite players, guys. I'm half French, so I absolutely love Ibu Konate. He's on the back of my shirt. But if he decides to not sign that extension this summer, we cannot afford to lose a player of his ability on a free, just like we lost Trent on a free. We have to sell him this summer and then sign another young defender like a Huijsen, for example, because it would just be an absolute blow to lose a player like him on a free. Arlo from Fabrizio Romano on TikTok and YouTube. Ola Aina could be an option at right back as well, but now it's not looking like it's going to happen because we're going to have two right backs in Frimpong and Connor Bradley. Yo, Mia, nice to see you back in the building. What's good? The one player, Arda, if I could say one player, it's Julian Alvarez, because the striker position is going to be the most difficult one for us to recruit this summer. So for me, the one, if I had to say one, it's Julian Alvarez. But I hope he does sign, but Hato or Huijsen would be great replacements. Yeah, Jalapeno, my dream, which I think could be likely, Dean Huijsen, it seems like his ultimate dream is to play for Real Madrid one day. So if they are already interested, he probably will go there, right? Because I don't want a player either who already has his eyes on Madrid. And then my dream is then it means Real Madrid no longer is looking at Ibu Konate, so we get him to extend and we sign Jorel Hato as a young prospect center back for this summer and as an option for left back. So my dream scenario is Dean Huijsen goes to Madrid and we get Hato and we keep Ibu Konate. And I think it could happen. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Tommy says, Leo, have Liverpool even looked into Alvarez or Isaac? Yes, trust me, they would have been looking for a long time. Because like I said, it's going to be very difficult to find strikers this summer, given Chelsea, Arsenal, and Man United. Those three clubs, like us, are going to be looking for strikers this summer, and they're all three of them will be willing to spend big. So the search for a striker this summer is very tense and very, very competitive. Broski, thank you very much for the super chat, who says, Leo, would you like to sign Kerkez from Bournemouth? I would love to sign Kerkez from Bournemouth. And I'm thinking about other teams having to defend our wings with potentially, just imagine this, Lucho on the left wing with Kerkez at left back bombarding forward, and then on the right Mohamed Salah with Frimpong bombarding forward. Bro, RIP to our opposition, because that is so incredibly difficult to defend with the amount of pace and power and legs. We would be a different prospect to this season in that sense, out wide on the wings. It would be unbelievable. It would be truly unbelievable. Big up Kaloyan. Thank you very much, Sami, for the super chat, who says, what do you think about Frimpong? Is this confirmed? It's nearly confirmed, bro. Nearly confirmed. We're very advanced. Frimpong wants to leave Leverkusen. That's been reported all over. It's going to be a new era at Leverkusen. Xavi Alonso obviously is off to Real Madrid. and he's very keen on a move to Liverpool, and Liverpool wants to sign him. So I don't see how this deal doesn't get done unless we don't move very quickly. But like I just said before, we are moving very quickly. So I really, really do see this being our first signing of the summer, you guys. I see it. Obviously, the here we go hasn't come yet, but they'll know how competitive it is. They'll know how competitive. Do you think we could get an Oshimen, Louis? I don't think it's the type of profile Arne Slot is looking for. He's more of a Haaland type player from what I've heard. He's more of a in the box poacher, clinical finisher. I mean, what's for sure is he does bring you goals, but in terms of the way we set up, I don't think Oshimen is a slot type striker from what we've seen so far. I mean, I could be wrong, but I don't think he's the type of profile we're looking for. I don't think so. Abzinho says, nah, bro, Hato would be the dream. Because like we mentioned recently in possession, we could switch to a back three of Hato, Virgil, and Ibu, and Frimpong running forward. I agree. Hato would be the dream as well. Will Bobby Firmino come back to Liverpool? I don't think so, no. I think it's past his time now. I think his next move will probably be going back to Brazil. That would be my prediction for for Bobby Firmino's next move. Yeah. I've never seen a player like Yamal in my lifetime. Never seen any 17-year-old like that. And Slot likes to sign Dutch players, yeah. And it'll help the fact that he's Dutch, trust me, to convince them. It'll definitely help to convince. 100%. Robo, nice to see you back in the building. Vitus from Denmark says, I really hope that Frimpong comes to Liverpool because we need a really good right back, but Connor Bradley is still good, but Frimpong is just another level. Like I said, I think they just offer very different options for Slot, so I think it's fantastic, to have both of them, and that's what it's looking like is going to happen, so I'm absolutely buzzing. Big up Munir. Mason is in the building as well. Yeah, Liverpool. I'm going to be making a video on that Abzinho next. I'm going to be making a video on that. Thank you, Munir. Big up to you. How close is his deal now, Leo? Percentage-wise would be great. Ellis, I would say 80%. I would personally say 80% because I don't see the main parts, obviously, of getting a deal done are, can you agree? Will the player agree on the move? Will the clubs agree on a fee? Those are the two main pieces. And for me, those two, all the reports are saying, A, Frimpong wants to leave Leverkusen and is very keen on a move to Liverpool. And then 2, we're okay with the price tag, which is the 35 million euro release clause. So I don't see anything getting in the way of that, so long as we move quickly. Because otherwise, if we don't move quickly, like I was saying before, I could see a Man City or a Man United trying to hijack the deal. So we have to move quick. Koldomar, nice to see you in the building. Who says I'm in the building? How are you? Frimpong is a huge signing. I hope we get him anyways. How's your day? I had a sandstorm here in Cairo, so I couldn't go to school. That's crazy. Was it a dangerous sandstorm? Like I said, I would say 80%. Where you been on the parade? Sam, I don't know yet. Yeah, around where the center will be, I'm sure. I'm sure that's around where I'll be going. Dream striker live is Julian Alvarez. That's my number one. My number one dream. I would absolutely die if that happened for us. I would dance and run all over the place. That's how much I'd be buzzing about it. I would run and dance all over the place if that happened. Michael says, as time goes on, I realize just how lucky we were to have Mo, Bobby, and Saudio. They played beautiful football. It's hard to replace. What an era. Yeah, Michael, I think when you talk about chemistry within a front three, I think it might be the best in Premier League history. Like genuinely, I just think they had it. They had everything. They had everything, and it's just I don't think we're gonna see a front three like that again. They were so special. And imagine how many more trophies they would have won if it wasn't the era of City dominating the Premier League and Real Madrid dominating in Europe. They would have had a lot more trophies if Pep wasn't the manager of City in that moment in time during their era. Caden says, "Hey Leo, I'm very excited for this transfer. I really wanted him last year. My mom and dad hate Arne. They say the only reason they won the league is because, oh, Caden, your parents don't know ball. If they think the only reason we won the league is because of Klopp, they don't know ball. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to say that about your parents, but they really don't." Han says, "It's like the Kelleher situation. If Frimpong joins, he'll almost for sure start. And a player of Connor Bradley's level deserves first team football, so I think he could leave." Nah, he's definitely not going to leave. Bro, they're going to fight for the position. They're going to fight for the position. Trust me. That's what's going to happen. Big up Clayton, who's been a community support member for 3 months. Thank you for the support. I really appreciate it. I really, really appreciate it. Whatever we do, whoever we sign needs to be a player with a name, not a player nobody has heard about. I disagree with that. Because we've proven in the past a player with not a big name come in and perform right away. Trust me, I still remember when we signed Mohamed Salah, when we signed Sadio Mane from Southampton. Like now it's so easy to look back and say, oh, everybody was on board. They were elite players, this and that. Trust me. I remember when we signed Sadio Mane from Southampton, many people were unhappy about the signing, saying, oh, he's so inconsistent for Southampton. He'll score a hat-trick in one game and then not score for 4 games. He's not that good. Why are we spending 30 million on him? Look what ended up happening. And same with Mohamed Salah. When we signed him from Roma, a lot of people were like, oh, he was a flop at Chelsea. He can't do it in the Premier League. Why are we taking a risk on him? This and that. He's now going to be one of our greatest ever players. So I'm not too fussed about the names. I'm really not too fussed about the names because of the people that are in charge. And that's why whoever we decide to sign this summer, I'm going to be fully on board with whoever that is. Whoever that is. I don't care about the name personally. Except maybe in the striker position. That's one thing I will say. Because we do need someone to come in that position and perform right away. That's the only position where I need us to go for someone that's ready-made. Otherwise, I will back our whole team. Kirkez posted, I saw those emojis. I saw that, bro. But nah, people saying that we should just sell Ibu Konate now because it's not moving forward. Bro, losing Ibu Konate would be a big blow. Trust me, we need to push for that extension. Do everything we can for him to stay. And yes, if last resort, last case scenario, that we don't end up finding an agreement, then I agree we sell him this summer. But that has to be the last resort, in my opinion, because we'd be selling him for less than his market value because we'd be forced to sell him early to not lose him on a free. And clubs around Europe like Real Madrid and a PSG, for example, apparently want him. They will know about the vulnerable position we're in, and they're going to be able to buy Ibu for cheaper. Like I said, I think he's a 60 to 70 million type player. If he has 1 year left on his deal, they could probably get him for 30 to 40 or something. So that's where we have to be very, very careful, The Scout Spud says, Leo, do you think this will be another Caicedo, Lavia, Alonso, or do you think this is an actual signing that will happen? Because normally the big news never come to fruition. Good point, the Scout Spud. But the reason why I think this deal is different to those is because the other ones, I feel like we struggled sometimes with the fee and we came in too late for them. right? Think about it. Caicedo, Chelsea were already advanced. Lavia, Chelsea were already advanced. Alonso, he never really said he wanted to leave. So I do think this Frimpong situation is very different to those three because one, like I said, we were the first ones to be on this Frimpong move. So it's not like we're coming in late like the Caicedo and Lavia ones. And two, not only has he said that he's ready to leave Leverkusen this summer, so again, different to the Alonso situation, but two, he's also said that he's very keen on a move to Liverpool. So in those aspects, it's very different to those. And that's why I actually do think this obvious signing, because, there's been links now for some while, is going to come to fruition. And that's why I think it is different to those that you just mentioned. Darwin was a name that didn't work out. Fowler and Owen came through the ranks. Suarez was a bit of an unknown, so disagree on needing a name. Exactly. Look, think about Luis Suarez when we signed him from Ajax. Exactly. He's the best player I've ever seen. The best player I've ever seen play for Liverpool in my lifetime in a one-off season was Luis Suarez. And trust me, when he joined from Ajax, nobody saw him going on to have the career that he did. Nobody. He wasn't a well-known name. Again, it's so easy to look now and be like, oh, such a clear signing. Just like I mentioned with Sadio Mane when we signed him from Southampton. Trust me, I won't forget, because I was already creating content back then, and I remember the comment section was like, why are we signing some Southampton inconsistent player? But look, he went on to be one of the greatest wingers Liverpool's ever had, elite player, one of the best players I've ever seen play for Liverpool. So that's why I'm never going to be focused on the name personally. Never. No English, Murphy. I'm not American. I just lived in the US for 11 years because my parents opened a shop there. They opened a shop in New York, but I'm not American even nationality-wise. I'm half French, half Icelandic. But I have this accent because I did end up living in the US for some years, PSG or Inter, I can't even predict that final. But if I had to lean towards one, I would say PSG because of just how outstanding they've been this season. And it just seems like it's their season. It just feels like it's their season. No way, Coldomar says, Leo, I met James in Paris. I also came back from Liverpool versus Arsenal 2 months in the last week. My next goal is to meet you one day. Big up, Coldomar. I think we're past that stage. That was in our rebuilding stage. We're here now. We need to... I don't know. Lookman links back. I would obviously take Lookman. He's a quality player. But I don't think that's the position we need the most. I really don't think. Love that. Snow says, I'm 25% American, Serbian, German, and Egyptian. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And look how football brings us together. Absolutely love it. But it's not about making it's not even about unknowns. You're talking about star. Who is it that was talking about star players? Raul, I think we need 5 signings with the amount of outgoings we're gonna have. With the amount of outgoings. Oh yeah, it's Kirmani that says, I think we're past that stage. That was in a rebuilding stage. I don't know though. It's not always the best thing to go for big names. Like, think about it. Thiago didn't work out. He was a big name. Naby Keita was a big name at the time because he had just gone the Bundesliga player of the season and all that. Think about the likes of Sadio Mane came in and he performed right away, and he wasn't a big name at the time, So just because they're not a big name doesn't mean they can't come in and perform right away. So I'm honestly not too fussed about the names, just because I trust the people who are in charge of our recruitment, which is Michael Edwards, who's proven time and time again that he knows how to get the right players. You know what I mean? No way, Coldomar. You got tickets for the Champions League final? You're kidding. You didn't get tickets. Football Shorts says, I'm like 80% US, 15% Ukrainian, and 5% from Moldova. Reggie says, I'm an Everton fan, but I think your content is class. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate you. It's not should we, Noah. We need to sign a striker. Not should we. We need to. Absolutely, we need to. Without a shadow of a doubt, we need to. Ken, I wouldn't say I've seen enough of Frimpong, and I also think it's hard to judge whether he's a better defender than Trent just because he plays in such a different system. Like for the Dutch national team, he's a right wing back. For Leverkusen, he's a right wing back, so he's not asked to do the same defensive work as Trent would be in a back four. So I think it's very hard to judge. But from what I've heard, yes, defending is not his specialty. But again, he can make it up for how good he is going forward. Just like over the years, Trent did cost us defensively, but I never thought that means he should ever be dropped because he just gave us so much going forward that it's worth it for to basically put up with his defensive weakness because of how elite he is going forward. Loner says, did you consider Salah as an established player when we signed? Not a guaranteed kind of established player because, like I said, I remember when we signed him, like I was saying, he didn't succeed in the Premier League under Chelsea. So many people were saying, why are Liverpool taking a risk on a player that flopped at Chelsea? He can't do it in the Premier League. Why are they doing this and that? Yes, he had just had a very good season with Roma, but he wasn't Premier League proven. And so I wouldn't say he was established in that way. So again, he came in and he had one of his best ever seasons in his very first season, arguably his best. So it just shows, again, he wasn't the most obvious option and he's not one of our greatest ever players. You know what I mean? So see you later, football shorts. You'll never walk alone. What number will he be? I don't know. What number does he currently wear for Leverkusen? I'm not sure what his number is. I'm not sure. Dalen, nice to see you in the building, who says this is good news. It's very, very good news. Very, very good news. Man, we just can't afford to have Ibukonate leave on a free. Mr. Fire Gaming, thank you for the support. I appreciate it. You'll never walk alone. You're playing F1 Manager right now. Oh, is that like Football Manager, but for F1? Oh, he wears number 30. Okay. Yeah, so I could see him taking 30 for Liverpool then. If that's the number he likes, nobody's wearing number 30 for Liverpool, so I could see him taking the 30. I could see that happening, definitely. Definitely, I could see that. He's just 65 kilos. Well, we're talking about weight now? Nah, yeah, he's physically, he's incredible, mind tripping. He's incredible in terms of his pace and everything else like that. I think Frimpong will adjust to the Premier League just fine. I don't think it's just about weight. He can always bulk up if he wants. Emmanuel Frimpong is close to becoming a red. We're very advanced, apparently. Very advanced. Do you think City will be back? I hope not. I think it might take them a season or two because when you have key players like KDB leaving the club, Bernardo Silva potentially, they kind of have to go through a rebuild and that takes time. So probably it's going to take time. But at the same time, the fact that Rodri is going to be back fit, that's going to be such a boost. One of the best players in the world. When you're missing one of the best players in the world for a whole season, of course you're going to feel it. So for him to be back fully fit for them, yeah, it's going to be the biggest boost we'll ever see because we also got to see how it was the biggest blow you've ever seen when he left. You know what I mean? Nah, but mind tripping. I don't think weight or height matters. It's just like people were always talking about, oh, the PSG midfield is so short and the players don't weigh much, right? From the PSG midfield. Think about Joao Neves and Vitinha. Both of them very short. They played 3 top Premier League clubs over 2 legs and they beat all of them to get to the final. And the Premier League is known for being a very physical league. And I would say they outclassed Aston Villa, Arsenal, and Liverpool in the midfield. I was at the PSG game at the Parc des Princes, and they outdid our midfield. Joao Neves, Vitinha, and Fabian Ruiz. So it just shows if you're a top player, I don't think those physical in football, those physical acumens aren't the most important. And boy, is he an athlete when you see him run. He's an absolute athlete. Yo, yes, Elena, the Frimpong deal is nearly done, baby. Nearly done. Nearly. Yeah, I think everybody's talking about Ibu Konate now. Almost everybody's talking about Ibu. Milos Kerkez. Oh, that's a great window. You signed Kerkez, Piero, and Ederson. Damn. Imagine that happened in real life. Imagine. Do you think Pep never... Do you think if Pep never came to the Premier League, would Klopp be considered the best? I think probably. Imagine the amount of league titles he would have won. He would have been considered the best alongside Sir Alex. You can't ever discount Sir Alex. The amount of league titles he won, he's at the very, very top too. He's there on the Mount Rushmore with Pep Guardiola. When you talk about amount of trophies won, amount of league titles won in the new Premier League. Can't wait for this season to end and the next one to start. You'll never walk alone from Sweden. Me too. But nah, Musiala is staying at Bayern. He recently signed a new deal. Imagine Bayern have Florian Wirtz and Musiala. How exciting would that be for Bayern fans to look forward to? Imagine. Charlotte says, Leo, is your goal to become a full-time with this channel? Yes, it is the goal, Charlotte. That is indeed the goal. That's what I've always been pushing for. And then to be able to do, if it's possible to do more full-time, to have help on the channel as well, you know? And I really, you know, the support you're showing and all of you guys are showing in the building, it really means the world because all of you being here. And look, Dean too says, I'm so glad I've subscribed to your channel. You guys, it means the world. It really means the world. So I'm going to do everything to give you guys the best content that I can, you know? But yes, that is the goal. Which striker would you sign? Julian Alvarez, by far, is my dream. Imagine Alvarez and Kerkez came too, says Elena. Yup. Nah, Caden, don't listen. Do not listen, especially in football. Height does not matter. I was always short and I could play football, you know? So don't care about height. Trust me. Semenyo. No, something random. Semenyo for me isn't going to be... He's not one of the players that makes me dream. But again, if we decided to go for him, I would back it because I trust our recruitment team. But if you ask me like that, it doesn't get me excited. I got to be honest. Well, subscribe to your channel. Thank you, Elena. I appreciate the kind words. You'll never walk alone because I grew up in Iceland. And in Iceland, there is no proper professional league. It's like kind of half amateur. And so the Premier League is massive in Iceland. It's massive. Everybody is a Premier League team. And one of my really close friends showed me Liverpool and I just immediately fell in love. It was like I didn't even need to understand football. I didn't know the sport at all, but something just felt right. And then I researched about the history. I looked into Stevie G and I fell in love like that. It came so quick. It just felt right as a kid. I was 6 or 7 years old when I was living in Iceland at that time. Go Naldo, thank you. You guys are the sweetest. But yeah, Caden, seriously, you know, I to give you a little bit of motivation because you're gonna have ups and downs, you know, especially when you're a teenager. Like there's always bullies, unfortunately, all around the world. But speaking on experience, I will tell you a life experience for me that was so important. So I played also for varsity. I played for this club in New York and we trained and everything, and it meant a whole lot to me. And I wasn't one of the best players, I'll be honest. I wasn't one of the best players. And one year, when I was 15, the club had to let go of 10 players because they had to change the teams around and there wasn't enough space. And I was one of the 10 players that was let go. And I remember I was absolutely devastated because a lot of the players on the team became my close friends. And from one day to the next, I just wasn't in training anymore. I wasn't traveling with the team anymore. They weren't a part of my life anymore, because I was let go. I wasn't good enough. And at the time, I tried to make excuses. For 6 months, I was like, oh, I don't want to play football anymore. I'm not good enough. I'm never going to make it. Why didn't they keep me? I basically kept making excuses. But then as I made those excuses over time, and I think it took about 6 months, I realized I need to stop feeling sorry for myself. Like if I think realistically, I deserve to be let go. I wasn't one of the best. I was in the top 10 of the worst players on the team. And then I really reflected, why was I let go? And then I realized, oh, why? Most of the other players on the team would arrive 30 minutes before training. They would practice on weekends. They would practice a whole lot outside of practice. And it completely motivated me. And I can still remember it took me about 6 months of sulking. And then I decided to take things into my own hands. And I would go to the park every single day. And I realized one of the parts of my game that I needed to improve was confidence. I often would shy away from the ball. And one of the reasons I would shy away is because I wasn't confident about my touch, my control. So I was like, you know what? For a month, I'm going to spend 2 hours alone at the park, working on my touch, again, kicking it against a wall, and working on my juggling. I did that for 2 months. And the amount of confidence and just how much I learned from that was so important. And when I look back on that, and then I ended up joining another team and doing well. Like I joined another team. But I still remember, like for me, that was a life lesson. It was like if you feel, if you have a down moment like that, and for me, that felt like almost the end of the world because it meant a lot for me to be on that team. And I just felt like I wasn't good enough. Like I was just, I sucked and all that. But to instead use a down moment to motivate you, and it really did motivate me to go to the park every single day to practice, that's the mentality that you need for life. And football taught me that, where in life you're going to have many ups and downs. Like if you don't have ups and downs, I don't think you're truly living. That's part of life. And the way you react to down moments, to moments maybe you didn't expect, I think is what defines your life. And when I was 15, that life lesson for me is one I'll never forget. Never forget. It always will live with me. And again, beyond football, in anything. When I've gone through a breakup, for example, with a girlfriend in the past, or when I've lost a friend, or when I've had to leave a place I love, all the same in terms of mentality. You know what I mean? It's all the same. You'll Never Walk Alone says, I've been to Iceland. It's my favorite country. It is special. It is special for sure. Leo, have you ever been to Denmark and seen the football? I have been to Denmark, to Copenhagen, but I've never seen the football. No, I've never seen the football. Is the deal done? No, but it's close. It's close. Elena says, they bully me a lot. I'm still a preteen, but it really affects me. They call me a weirdo a lot and make fun of my weight. I always ignore it to feel happy being myself, but sometimes I can't. Elena, don't listen to them. Trust me. I told you this in the past, but I'm really sorry to hear that because it sucks. And as much as I can tell you that, it's still obviously going to hurt. But it's just crazy to me that no matter where in the world, there's bullies all over the world. It really sucks. It really sucks. But it's part of life. It is part of life. Anime says that I fell in love with the club because it's like family. It's not just a football club. Caden, when people call you short and say you won't make it as a pro, say, okay, fine. And then practice harder than you've ever practiced and show yourself on the football pitch. That's it. I would say, okay, you don't think I'm going to make it? I'll show you. But don't say I'll show you. Just say, okay, no problem. And then use that as motivation. Use people that doubt you as motivation to push you, because it's through training, through practicing, that you're going to be confident and perform at your highest ability in games. You know what I mean? HX says, you should go to Croatian football. It's absolutely crazy and it's a very good time to go. I would love to, because I've never been. I've never been to Croatia either. And I've never been to, I think, no, I went to Norway when I was a kid. Have you ever been to the Caribbean? Yes, I have. I've been to Barbados and Jamaica. Yeah, I've been to those two. Are you from the Caribbean? I love the Caribbean Ocean. It's so warm and beautiful. Leo, do you think the deal will be done today? Not today, but within the next week, hopefully, is where I have my fingers crossed. Mark says they told Iniesta he was too small to be a professional footballer, and he's possibly one of the great. He is. Not possibly, bro. He is one of the greatest midfielders ever. He scored a winning goal in a World Cup final. It doesn't get better than that. It doesn't get any better than that. Raul, I'm 25. 25. Oh, yes, Arnau. You're from Jamaica. Well, I've been to Jamaica because, it was also one of my dreams because one of the music I listen to most often, let me see if I have is reggae. I'm obsessed with reggae, and Bob Marley was my first love in music. But look, I'm also the biggest fan of, since when I was little, Bob Marley got me into reggae, but since then, my two favorites too, and I don't know if you know them, but Burning Spear and Junior Mervin, they're my favorites. And look at this. Burning Spear. Beautiful. So I have lots of collectibles from... So that was also one of my dreams to go there for that reason, because I love reggae so much. How tall? I'm not that tall, bro. I'm between 5'9". Between 5'8" and 5'9", somewhere in between. So it's like 1 meter 74. It's not tall, but... And I used to get made fun of so much when I was little. If I could ever find that picture again, I'll show you guys. There's a picture of in my school when I was little, and all the girls were even taller than me. I was the shortest kid in the entire class, and everybody made fun of me. But nah, Serge, when I was like 8 years old, Bob Marley is when I got inspired by Bob Marley, and then I started to explore reggae. No, maybe 9, 10. That's when I fell in love with reggae. I'm sad because I'm a Barca and Lille fan. I wanted Frimpong to Barca. You already have Koundé. Why would you need Frimpong, bro? Koundé has been incredible this season. I don't think Barca needs a right back, right? I don't think that's needed. But yeah, guys, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of this live because I'm going to be preparing a video very soon and then it's going to be dinner time. So, guys, I appreciate all of you being in the building as always. I really, really appreciate you guys. And hopefully there will be more updates to come very, very soon on Jeremy Frimpong. I hope to be able to say, here we go with you guys so we can celebrate our first signing of the summer. And hopefully more lives to come along as well. But guys, as always, thank you for the support. And I will see you guys very, very soon. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your week. And like I said, I hope this deal gets wrapped up very quickly because we cannot play around here. Man City and United are definitely going to be trying to hijack this deal, so we got to be on it. Guys, I will see you very, very soon. You'll never walk alone. Next time I see